Welcome to the Skilled MBA Human Resource Management Case Study Series, where leadership is tested not by title, but by action, clarity, and courage in the face of uncertainty. This case takes us back to March 2020, when the world was bracing for the unknown. At Sigmoid Group, an emerging technology and analytics firm, one human resources executive saw what others didn't: the fast-approaching threat of the COVID-19 pandemic and the urgent need for organizational response. Yet, there was a problem. Senior leadership remained unaware, and the HR executive had no formal authority to command action. What followed was a masterclass in influencing without power. The executive used strategic communication, persuasive data, and emotional intelligence to move leaders into action, convincing them to implement early precautionary measures, initiate work-from-home policies, and safeguard employee well-being. This case is about more than just crisis management. It's a lesson in leadership from the middle, in navigating resistance, and in how soft power, when used with conviction and clarity, can steer organizations through chaos. In March 2020, a pivotal moment arose for an HR executive at Sigmoid Group. Tasked with influencing senior leadership, the challenge was to navigate the complexities of crisis management. The executive needed to persuade leaders to recognize the impending threat of COVID-19 despite their initial skepticism and implement necessary protective measures. Stella Fernandez, Vice President of Human Resources at Sigmoid Group, faced the daunting task of safeguarding over 500 employees from COVID-19. Her challenge was compounded by senior leadership's dismissal of the pandemic as media exaggeration. Stella had to navigate this skepticism to ensure both employee safety and business continuity. The Sigmoid Group, a family-run business, operates with a traditional hierarchical structure and a conservative decision-making approach. It emphasizes in-person presence and collaboration, with limited experience in remote work. This context presents unique challenges in adapting to crises, requiring strategic navigation of organizational dynamics and stakeholder influence. Understanding crisis phases is crucial for identifying types and stages of organizational crises. Stakeholder mapping helps in grasping influence dynamics and power structures. Systems thinking reveals resistance points in change initiatives. Effective crisis leadership is essential for navigating challenging conversations with senior stakeholders. Understanding the target audience is crucial. MBA students focus on organizational behavior, change management, and strategic leadership. HR professionals seek insights on crisis communication and employee welfare strategies. Business leaders aim to develop crisis leadership competencies and change management skills. Tailoring strategies to these groups enhances effectiveness in navigating organizational crises. In March 2020, as COVID-19 cases surged in India, the government emphasized social distancing, raising client concerns about business continuity. Sigmoid Group faced internal challenges, lacking remote work infrastructure and dealing with leadership skepticism about the pandemic's severity, which heightened employee anxiety and safety concerns. Stella conducted thorough research on pandemic trends and government guidelines, analyzing competitor responses. She mapped stakeholders, identifying key influencers and allies. Stella developed a detailed work-from-home policy with an implementation roadmap. She secured crucial support from the information technology head and operations manager, ensuring a strong foundation for her strategic approach. The senior leadership team dismissed the pandemic's severity, viewing media reports as exaggerated. They believed employees were safe in the office, underestimating the virus's impact. This resistance highlighted a critical perception gap, hindering effective crisis management and prioritizing operational continuity over employee safety. Leadership underestimated the crisis's severity, prioritizing operational continuity over employee safety. This risk aversion created a perception gap, hindering effective crisis management. Stella struggled to gain support from key senior leaders, limiting her ability to drive necessary changes. Addressing these issues is crucial for effective crisis response and stakeholder engagement. Sigmoid Group faced an acute crisis in March 2020. Stella could have enhanced stakeholder mapping by identifying key influencers. Persuasion strategies, such as aligning safety with business continuity, might have swayed resistant leaders. Emotional intelligence is crucial in health emergencies, enabling leaders to balance empathy with decisive action. Utilize the power interest matrix to tailor communication strategies by mapping stakeholder influence. Apply the crisis lifecycle model to identify intervention points across pre-crisis, acute, and recovery phases. Leverage Cotter's 8-step model to diagnose gaps in urgency, coalition, and vision. Employ systems thinking to pinpoint resistance loops and leverage points within organizational dynamics. Effective crisis leadership extends beyond technical skills, demanding influence without formal authority. Emotional intelligence often surpasses logical reasoning in impact. The success of communication hinges on timing and framing. Reflect on Stella's situation. Consider alternative strategies that could have enhanced her leadership effectiveness in navigating the crisis. Explore Skilled MBA for in-depth case studies on crisis leadership, change management, and strategic human resources practices. Access real-world business challenges, practical frameworks, and interactive learning experiences. Visit skilledmba.com for comprehensive business education resources. Thank you for joining us for this timely and relevant leadership journey with Skilled MBA, Journey to Success with Pride. We hope Sigmoid Group's experience inspires you to recognize that influence is not a position, it's a mindset, and that the quietest voices can often lead the loudest impact. True leadership shines in uncertainty. Embrace curiosity, preparation, and readiness to lead effectively. For further guidance, contact Skilled MBA at +91 87553 00795 or support@skilledmba.com. Visit skilledmba.com for more resources.